This tutorial is part 2 of a 2-part series of tutorials on backing up and restoring VMs in unRAID. In the second part we concentrate on automatic backups.
Cracking.
Okay guys, so in the second part of backing up VMs, we're going to learn how to back up our unRAID VMs automatically on a schedule, basically choosing which VMs we want to have backed up. And for this we're going to go to the unRAID forums and scroll down till we find user customizations. And then in user customizations we need to find the thread unRAID autovm backup. Now I'm going to post a link in the description for this, so you can just click straight to it and find here. And we're going to use this script that Danioj wrote, which backs up VMs automatically. It's an absolutely awesome script. It will even close down your VM if it's running, back it up and then restart it again afterwards. You know, how cool is that? And just a little background, this guy actually wrote this script whilst he was ill in hospital, while most of us would have probably been sitting there moaning and feeling sorry for ourselves. This guy thought he's going to write an awesome script and give it to us guys to make our unRAID life that little bit easier. So thank you very much Daniel Johnson for making this script. So anyway, if we scroll down his first post, we'll see that the code's been put into GitHub, so click onto this link and then click unRAID auto backup, and just need to copy this script. It's quite long, so just scroll down and copy the script, and we can close these pages. And we need to just paste it into a text editor. If you're using a PC, you can use Notepad. If you're using a Mac, you can use TextEdit. But I'm actually going to use a program I really like called TextMate. I just find it makes it a lot easier for editing text. So I'm going to paste it into here, but wherever you paste it, doesn't really matter. Just scroll up to the top of the script. You see it should start saying exclamation mark bin bash. Then what we need to do is we need to edit some various parts of this script in order to make it work. And the way we're going to use this script is in conjunction with Squid's excellent user script plugin, so we can set a schedule for it to be run, etc. So if we start at the top, if we scroll down, the very first thing we're going to have to change is right here where it says official script name. Now we're going to have to change that to just say script, because that's the name that the user script plugin will expect our script to be called. So just change that to script with no extension at all, so just leave that like that, and then scroll down to here. This first setting here is basically to turn the script on or off. As default it is set to 0, which is off, so obviously we want it to be turned on, so we're going to set that to a 1, and we ignore this here, we don't need to change that at all, and keep scrolling down. And the first part we come to here is our backup location. This is basically where we want our automatic VM backups to go. And I've got a share called test, and within that share I've made a folder called auto backup. So that's where I want my backups to go. So basically put the location in here. Mine is mnt/user/test/auto backups. So there I've set the backup location for here. And then the next thing to do is to scroll down here and to put in the VMs that need to be backed up. So what I need to do is look at the VMs here at their names of which ones I want to back up. And as in the first part of the video, I'm going to back up my React OS VM. Now the only reason I choose this one is because it's only got a 15 gig V disk, and so it's far quicker for me to back up for this video. So just copy the name, React OS, or whatever your VM is called, or VMs are called. Now one thing to be careful of, don't just paste the name in here like that. it must be on a separate line. So what you need to do is straight away after these quotations is just to press enter, and then to have it on a separate line. So the React OS is here. At first I tried it and it was here and it didn't work for me. If you wanted to have any other VMs, you just again press enter, and say I wanted this one here to be done. I would just copy that and pop that one here, so it's a list. You can see an example here which has been commented out. So on every line you have the name of the VM you want to be backed up. I'm going to remove this one out because I don't want that one to be backed up. There's the list of the VMs to back up. Now this next setting here, the actually copy file setting, by default it's set for 0, and what this will do at 0 is it will do a dry run. It will basically go through everything and see if basically everything works without actually copying anything. So I think it's a good idea to leave that to 0 to start with, just so we can do a dry run and see if everything works fine. So we'll leave that for 0. The next setting here is to timestamp files. This is a useful setting if you want to have your files timestamped. So if you're doing, say, a weekly backup, then you're going to have like dated files, so you know which is which. So I like to put that onto a 1, so I have the timestamp on my files. Okay, and so the next setting here, clean shutdown checks. This here is the number of times you would like the script to check if a VM is running and it tries to shut it down, how many times it will check if the VM has been shut down. So basically the default is 10, so it will check 10 times to see if there's been a clean shutdown of the machine before it does a backup. The next setting here is seconds to wait. This is the number of seconds to wait between a check of whether the VM has been shut down. So it will do one check and then it will wait another 60 seconds, it will check again, see if the VM has been shut down. So as soon as it sees the VM is shut down, it will then carry on with the copy. So this is just basically, these two settings here are just checking if the VM has been shut down or not. And this setting here, default is set to 0, so setting this to 1 will make the script force the machine to shut down if it can't be cleanly shut down. This would be useful for operating systems such as OS X, where you can't actually just send a stop signal to it and shut it cleanly down. You can only do it from within the VM or by clicking force stop. So if you're backing up an OS X machine and you thought it might be on when the backup is run, you would need to have this set for 1. And the setting after that here is the start VM after backup. You can set that to a 1 if you want, after the backup is finished, for that machine to be started up. Now I like to leave that for 0 because most of the time I don't leave my VMs running unless I'm using them anyway, and also if I had a list of VMs I'm sure they all wouldn't be running anyway, so I wouldn't want all of the VMs to start up after they've been backed up. So I prefer to leave that for a 0. And this setting is very similar to the one above. Basically, if for any reason the script can't back up a virtual machine correctly, it will start it again afterwards as well. So if for any reason there's a failure, it shut the virtual machine down, it will then start it up again. So basically that is all of the sections you need to edit for the script to work. So just scroll back up to the top. So now we've edited that, what we're going to do, we're going to go to the flash drive and we're going to go to config and we're going to scroll down till we come to plugins, scroll down to the bottom to user scripts and go to our scripts file, and in that scripts file we're going to have a script. So just grab any script that's there and bring it and drop it on the desktop. May as well leave this open. So I'm just going to drag that onto my other screen for the time being, and this here, just rename it. I'm going to call it auto backup, and in here I'm going to delete this file called script. So I'm going to save this file we just edited into that folder there, auto backup, and you have to make sure it is named script, and make sure there is no file extension afterwards. If you put a file extension afterwards like .txt etc., the script will not run. So you have to make sure it doesn't have any file extension, it's just script. So click on save, and now we'll see that that's in here. So I can close my text editor here, and just for the description in here, just edit the description, open it with a text editor. This time I'll use text edit and just type in what the script does. So this script will auto backup VMs, and just save that. And so now we've got the script prepared. What we need to do is to copy it. Copy, and we're going to go back to our flash drive, go back to config, go back to plugins, user scripts, and scripts, and we're just going to paste it in here. So now we've got our auto backup script in our user scripts. So now we can just go to settings and go down to user scripts, and now you see we have our auto backup script here, and all we need to do is press run script, and as you can see there seems to be no errors here. It's done a dry run because we put the setting to 0, if you remember, for it not to actually copy any files, just because we wanted to check that everything's configured properly. So we can see that's done, so nothing's actually been copied, but we can see there's been no errors. So now we can click on done. We'll go back to our flash drive, back to config, back to plugins, back to user scripts, back to scripts, and click on auto backup, and then go to our script, and we'll just edit this directly on the flash drive. So I'm going to open this with a text editor again. Now we're going to scroll down, and now this time, now we know everything's correct, we're going to change this actually copy files to 1, so it will actually copy files. And I'm just going to click on file and then save and close this. So now when I run the script, it will actually copy the VM into my auto backups folder. So we'll leave that up while we run the script, just so we can see it happening. So I'm going to click on run script, and as you can see, it's copying the vdisk1 image now. We're looking here, it's already copied the XML file, look. So you know, this is actually great because it copies your XML file as well as your vdisk, so it makes a real complete copy of your VM. It will take a little bit of time. Remember, the size of the vdisk is quite large. You know, make sure you don't close this window, by the way, otherwise it will abort the script. And now you can see the vdisk is copied into our folder, and the script says it's finished, so we can click on done. So now what we'll do, when we know everything's working, we can set a schedule. So you just click onto here, and you can set it for hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, or at the start and stop of the array. I think a weekly schedule is pretty good. Or, you know, even if you wanted just to have it manually, you know, you could disable the schedule, and just when you want to back up, if you had a list of VMs you want to back up, just come and run this script. Anyway, I'm going to schedule mine for weekly, then click on apply, click on done, and that's all you have to do. Your VMs will back up automatically. Anyway guys, so that's the end of the tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. As always, if you like the video, I'd really appreciate it you hitting the like button, and if you want to see more videos from me, then please subscribe to the channel. And whatever you guys are up to for the rest of the day, I hope it's good, and I'll catch you in the next video.